Kieran Culkin is finally getting the recognition he deserves, sweeping up awards left and right and proving he's more than just Macaulay's little brother. But let's be real, breaking out of that shadow wasn't easy. So how did he carve out his own legacy, and what kind of scars did their childhood leave behind? Trust me, they run deep. Growing up, the Culkin family was big. We're talking 7 kids big. Their parents, Kit Culkin and Patricia Brentrup, were raising the whole crew, Shane, Macaulay, Kieran, Rory, and their sisters, including Dakota, in a cramped New York City apartment. Money was tight, to say the least.
We lived in a tight space where it was just 7 of us running around. It was like a sort of little...
So, to get by, acting became the family business. Every kid was pushed into auditions, and things got so tight that Macaulay would crawl under theater bleachers looking for spare change.
Mom's pretty busy. Does Mom go with you, though, when you go out to shoot? How do you do this?
Well, sometimes my dad goes out, and sometimes my mom goes out. They alternate most of the time.
Is it fun? Do you like the job of acting? You think you might want to do this forever?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
Yes,
I
I do.
saw a little hesitation there.
No, I was thinking about it. Like, yeah, definitely.
Then everything changed when Macaulay shot to fame with Home Alone and Richie Rich. But things behind the scenes weren't so glamorous. His dad, Kit, became his full-time manager, pushing him relentlessly, forcing him to stay up late memorizing lines no matter how tired he was.
They never told me how much I made or how much I had built up.
As Macaulay later revealed, his father was both physically and emotionally abusive, even resenting him for outshining him. By the age of 10, I had already achieved more than he ever did, Macaulay once said.
Now I would just wear a hat, walk with my head down.
Why? Is it kind of, you're just getting used to everybody recognizing you?
Yeah, kind of. So it's like, I want to go to the arcade, and I just want to play a video game.
And here's the thing. Kieran actually loved acting, but he didn't want the fame that came with it. Watching what Macaulay went through made him wary of the spotlight. I had this unhealthy relationship with what I did for a living. I really wanted to do it, but I didn't want to be successful at it, he once said.
I feel like any rational person got to experience fame secondhand, they would not pursue it.
At the same time, though, there was some jealousy bubbling up. But let's talk about that one moment that really summed up what it was like growing up in Macaulay's shadow. Flashback to 1991, Macaulay hosted SNL, and during the celebration, the whole cast lifted him onto their shoulders, and there's Kieran standing off to the side, clearly jealous. Things only got worse after Kit and Patricia split in 1995, sparking a messy custody battle over the kids and Macaulay's huge Hollywood fortune.
My parents are smart enough to put most of it, about 90% of my money, into a guarded account that even I couldn't touch until I turned 18.
Kieran, still a kid, just wanted out of the chaos. He even wrote a letter to the court asking for privacy, but it was denied. And from there, the tabloids devoured every piece of their family's drama.
I was basically a kid, and it was just overwhelming.
Like his brother, Kieran had a complicated relationship with their dad. He later admitted, there was a guy there. He didn't do anything. And while Macaulay pulled away from Hollywood at 14, Kieran kept acting, but on his own terms.
I lost the reason why I was doing it. And so I need to get reacquainted with my family. I hadn't spent time with my family.
Kieran starred in movies like Igby Goes Down, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Father of the Bride. And then came Succession. His role as Roman Roy was a total game changer. Suddenly the world wasn't just talking about Macaulay's brother, they were talking about Kieran. Now, after years of hard work, he's got an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and even an Oscar nomination for A Real Pain. The tables have officially turned.
How does it feel to be nominated?
It's pretty cool.
And the best part? Macaulay couldn't be prouder. When Kieran got his first Golden Globe nomination, Macaulay's reaction was peak Big Brother energy. Holy shit, Kieran is nominated? What is Succession? Man, I should really answer his calls more often. Classic. Despite their busy lives, the brothers stay close. When Macaulay's first son was born, Kieran offered up some priceless advice. Don't take anyone's advice, you'll figure it out. Brotherly wisdom, right?
We always talk about how we don't remember our life before our kids. Like it's like a dream, like or a distant kind of like a concept, not a reality.
And while Kieran is absolutely killing it in Hollywood, his real dream job, being a dad. I feel like what I'm supposed to do is be a stay-at-home dad. That's where I feel like I'm the most me. And anything that takes me away from that is wrong, he told Esquire.
What do you like about being a dad?
Oh man, everything. Everything except dinner time.
Kieran's got 2 kids with his wife, Jazz Charton.
It was 2012 when Kieran Culkin first crossed paths with his future wife, Jazz Charton, at a bar in New York City. Jazz was working in the music department of an ad agency at the time, while Kieran was already established as an actor. Since Charton grew up in London, Culkin was immediately drawn in by her accent and decided to introduce himself. He recalled their first conversation. I said, "I'm Kieran. You have an English accent. What's your name?" She said, "Jazz." I said, "Jazz like the music?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, that's fucking stupid." Kieran thought she was the most beautiful girl, but Jazz was, in fact, with another man at the bar that night. The actor knew he had to be smart about his approach and waited for the man to go to the bathroom before he made his big move. As soon as he left, Culkin went to sit by Charton and took his shot. He shared, "I asked if he was her boyfriend, and when she said no, I asked if I could be her boyfriend. We've been together ever since." In 2013, the couple decided to go on a road trip that took a very exciting turn. What was supposed to be a 6-week road trip ended up taking 3.5 months. Spending so much time on the road together made them realize how much they loved each other, and they figured there was no point in waiting to take the next big step. So, while they were driving through a storm in Iowa, Kieran and Jazz decided to pull over on the side of the road and elope. In a 2018 interview, Culkin shared that kids weren't in the cards for the couple just yet. According to the actor, he and Jazz were a little apprehensive about having children. He explained, "It just seems like a lot to take on. I suppose if she gets pregnant, that would be fine, but it's really not on our horizon." But their cat Django was their first baby. "My wife loves Django so much. She won't even travel because she doesn't want to leave him." About a year later, Charton announced that she was pregnant with their first child, and she left little to the imagination as to how she was conceived.
She doesn't like other kids' babies.
That's a problem, yeah.
She just doesn't like them. She's like, "I hope I like my kid." I'm like, "I'm sure you will, honey." And
Yeah.
In the Instagram post, she captioned, "The Globes were fun," referring to the Golden Globe Awards that year, where Culkin had been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Roman Roy on the hit TV series Succession. While he didn't win the award, just a few months later he got an even bigger prize when their daughter Kinsey was born. The couple said that they named their daughter after a girl named Kinsey who had helped them get their marriage license during their road trip. Just a few days after she gave birth, Jazz shared some details about the day Kinsey was born in a post on Instagram. She wrote, "After 25 hours of laboring at home, we arrived at the hospital too late for any pain meds as I was already dilated and ready to push, and she was out within the hour during a full moon on Friday the 13th. It's all so worth it. I've never been more in love, and we've never felt more complete." For Father's Day, Charton thanked Culkin for accidentally knocking me up, adding that it was the best thing to ever happen to me.
I'm not having any of the freakouts or the nervousness that everyone tells me I should be having.
Yeah.
All I am is excited.
When the actor was nominated for a Golden Globe the following year and lost again, Jazz shared a playful post poking fun at her husband. She wrote alongside a photo of her husband holding an imaginary trophy, "My 3-time Golden Globe loser. I got pregnant the last time he lost, so I'm out of consolation prize ideas." Kieran confessed to feeling dad guilt for managing to sleep while working out of town after Kinsey was born, knowing his wife was at home with their newborn. He shared, "When we had a kid the first time, I actually left town to do a talk show and was out of town those first few days, and I was getting a lot of sleep and felt guilty." The actor also prefers to be a hands-on dad, and even said, "I actually love the diaper changing, because he sees it as a connected moment and a bonding thing between him and his baby." Kieran and Jazz welcomed their second child in 2021, not long after she had announced her pregnancy.
Having 2 kids is not twice as hard. It's exponentially way harder. But then there's a lot of parents that say, actually, the first go around, because it changes your life completely. It took me a whole year to really wrap my head around.
This time, the couple struggled to agree on a name for their newborn son and didn't name him until weeks after he was born. Eventually, they agreed on the name Wilder Wolf. During an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show later that year, the actor explained why it took the pair so long to settle on a name for their son. Initially, it was because they didn't know if they were going to be having a boy or a girl.
My wife wanted Wolf. She was fighting hard for
Yeah,
Wolf.
it's a great name.
We found it in the hospital the day that he was born, and we thought, that's great, but instead of pulling the trigger on it, let's torture ourselves for about 7 weeks.
Kieran admitted that they waited until right before Jazz gave birth to brainstorm names. They were able to narrow it down to 2 girl names that they really liked and agreed it would be one of those names if they had a girl. Culkin added, "If it's a boy, we're screwed." And we had a boy and spent 7 weeks arguing about names. In 2022, Charton turned a drawing by her little lady Kinsey into a tattoo. For their 7th wedding anniversary, Jazz shared a photo from their wedding day on social media and wrote, "7 years ago, we went on what was supposed to be a 6-week road trip, but ended up taking 3.5 months. 7 years ago, we fell in love with Iowa. 7 years ago, we met a girl named Kinsey who helped us get our marriage license, and 7 years ago today, we said I do in the rain with 3 strangers." The actor isn't on social media himself, so his wife takes it upon herself to shower him with endless words of support online. The day after the actor hosted Saturday Night Live in 2021, Charton dedicated an Instagram post to him, writing, "Proud would be an understatement. So lucky to see this impressive man achieve his dreams, even while our kids deprive me of sleep and just general quality of life." Culkin is used to flying under the radar. Even though the actor grew up in a showbiz family of sorts, his career didn't reach the heights of his brother and Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin until he landed on the hit HBO drama Succession.
I'm gonna say that Succession has just been a dream.
The show instantly launched the careers of its ensemble cast, and Culkin emerged as a total fan favorite. Despite the immense popularity of the series, Kieran isn't terribly comfortable with the whole idea of fame. During an interview with Vanity Fair, he described being a celebrity as not a nice thing. He explained, "I think well-adjusted, smart people that experience it first, or secondhand, would not pursue it. I'll totally take personal happiness over success, absolutely. If I'm miserable, then what's the f***ing point?" As a result, the actor keeps his personal life under wraps, too. While Jazz shares little snippets of their private life at home, they like to keep the more intimate details to themselves. But from what we can tell, there is no denying that they have an adorable marriage. Culkin shared that he and Charton want to have more kids, especially now that they're moving into a bigger apartment. Up until their son was born, the couple had been living in the same New York apartment that Kieran had moved into when he was 19. The actor joked, "We're on our way up. The last place was a rental, so that money's all gone. I know, I'm not smart." Kieran even admitted that he and Jazz had been sleeping on a floor mattress while their toddler would sleep in their bed. Eventually, it came to a point when the couple knew they couldn't live like that anymore. He recalled, "There was a day in particular when I came home, and the place was a mess because I left it a mess, and I said, 'Honey, I'm so sorry for how we live.' And she goes, 'You know you're on a hit TV show, right? We don't have to live like this.' I'm like, 'Yeah, alright, we'll move. Since then, the couple has bought a beautiful 3-bedroom home and had it renovated. Now that they have more space, they're looking forward to expanding their family and making more happy memories together. We're so happy for Kieran and Jazz, and we wish them only the best for their future together. Be well and be kind."